just instantly live, huh?
Crazy.
If it works.
I was gonna share all personal details,
Nah. Yeah,
and
it
then
works.
you says Nels.
Yeah. How are you?
Good. And you?
Yeah? Good. It's I'm in this ridiculously hot room in our house. So I'm guessing that an hour from now, once this recording is done, I'm sweating my ass off. But for now,
Probably.
I'm doing well. I actually made myself an iced coffee, which is
Smart. I have a normal coffee. It's
hmm,
still pretty doable in here.
nice.
But I'm on the ground floor. That makes a big difference. And I have an airco, so I can turn it on if needed.
Hey, Bart.
Yo,
Hello.
Oh, hey, Bart. Hey, we're live, by the way. Just so you know, so that if you talk right now, it's all
Okay.
live on YouTube. So just so you know.
All right.
yeah, Joey
Hey
had
guys, how
no
you doing?
patience.
Yeah, no, 2 o'clock's 2 o'clock, right? Oh,
I'm
there's the other
sorry.
guy.
I still had to update a few things
Oh, yeah,
for being able to join. So
that's
Ralph,
all
we're
good.
live.
Oh,
Just-
hey Bart. Hello.
hey Rolf.
How's
There
it
you
all
go.
alive?
Yep,
We're
you're
already
live.
Yes.
Oh shit. Hey Bart.
Hey Rolf.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
The
Don't worry. I just joined
English.
as well.
What did you say, Bart?
I said I just joined as well, Rolf. So
Okay.
We're just
you're not
getting
the only
started.
one that's late to the party.
To be
Yeah, no
honest,
worries.
it shows the honesty of the podcast that mostly one or the other, mostly me, is a little bit late and then joins like, oh, we're already live. And
Yeah. Exactly.
Last
So-
time he was naked and he joined and he's like, "Oh, we're already live." Shit.
It's only a matter of time that that's gonna happen. Like, it's only a matter of time that we go live and something happens on the camera. But we'll see.
I think it will be next week then.
With
Me?
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna undress you live.
No, that's true. That's true. But
Maybe
how have you
when
been?
Holland wins the European Championship, Rolf will be naked. in front of
Oh,
the camera.
slim chances we will win. I don't know if you've seen the game. I cannot see it anymore. I should have go to the padel and
It's
yeah.
quite
Man, I
ridiculous, right?
I watched the last 10 minutes. I actually was turning it on. It was 2-2, and I before saw that it was 1-0 for Austria, and I was putting my kid to bed and having dinner, so I didn't see it. And then I came back and I saw, hey, it's 2-2, and then I put Chromecast on my TV, and it always has a little while to load, and then it loads, and it's like 3-2, and I'm like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah.
And then I see the last 10 minutes, and I'm like, it was just horrific. Like the amount of like
Yeah.
chances we could have had and
And
had.
those were the most decent 10 minutes of the game.
And that you call that decent? Oh, I'm happy I
It
didn't
was the
see
most
the rest
decent.
then.
Most decent. It's all relative.
Hey Ralph, it
But,
sounds like you're not using the right mic, but it says that you do. It's weird. I noticed it last time
No,
as well.
no. It says you can mute while recording, but you can't switch mics.
Yeah, but normally
Okay.
you sound a lot more fuller. Like it sounds really thin. I don't.
I'm gonna come back. Uno momento.
Yeah. Anyway,
Can you guys
Bart.
hear me okay?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
hear you great. Yeah. How have you
Okay,
been?
because I'm not on my good mic actually.
Oh, that's
So
fine.
I hope everything is you can hear me properly.
Yeah,
Loud and
yeah,
clear.
definitely. Loud
Okay,
and
good,
clear.
good.
How have you been?
Yeah, good. Still working a lot on music. So I'm a happy camper. Always a happy camper when I can work on music a lot. So
Happy
it's been-
camper,
it's
as
been
in you do camp around, or?
No, I think I'm a bit of a workaholic, so I don't take a lot of time off, but I just really enjoy working on music always. So yeah, just happy to be able to do that.
Nice. And you've also recently launched your album, right?
Yes, I just finished or I just released an album last week on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So it's my well, I didn't release any music for over 3 years.
3 years.
So
Wow.
That's
yeah,
a long time.
I know. I've mainly been working on other people's music, which has also been a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was. I still wanted. I had so much music laying around, and was kind of looking for a bit of a sound,
Mhm.
And then I just had a bunch of tracks that I really loved, and they all fit together so well. So it was just like it's time to do an album, and I finished it within maybe like a month.
Oh wow,
And then,
Wow.
that's quick.
yeah,
Just
and it's
just by
all
collecting all the songs.
yeah, just collecting them and then doing the finishing touches on them. So most of the tracks are all made like within the last couple of years,
Hmm.
and then maybe like one or two that I did this year. Um, but yeah, it was done quite fast,
Okay.
and it's all
And
released independently. So I just did everything myself. The
nice. That's what we like.
producing, the
Self-producing.
mixing, the mastering, the artwork, basically everything.
Yeah.
Which has been great to just have your own take on everything, and have full creative freedom, just work on whatever you want, and yeah, it's been nice.
Yeah.
And
No
Because
why?
stupid A&R nagging about stuff and
Exactly. Although there's some good points for working with a good A&R as well. They can really
definitely.
like steer you into a good direction. But yeah, I'm a bit stubborn, so it's also been nice to just do whatever I want.
And why did you do an album? And because if you have that many tracks, wouldn't you just think like, hey, it's better to do a single release every 2 weeks or every month? Because I'm
Yes,
always like quite interested in, or I never did an album. I have always released singles, and I feel like maybe an album, not all the tracks get the same attention from people, maybe.
yeah.
Or how do you see
I
that?
think I think the reason why I wanted to do an album is that you can move around a little bit with um, the different vibes that the tracks have, and yeah, you can release tracks that you normally wouldn't release as a single, but you still really love. And for me, they were just like um, contem. What's the word?
contemporary.
Contemporary, yeah. So they fit together nicely, but I wouldn't necessarily all release them as singles.
Okay.
But yeah, it's just a way of me to express myself creatively, uh, and yeah, basically just do whatever I wanted to do on the album and not think about like, is this a single? Would this necessarily work? I just wanted the full creative freedom, and
Nice.
Well,
I
yeah,
love
and
it.
just,
actually,
just see what happens. Just when you put music out there and just see what happens.
yeah.
So yeah, it's also because I've been working a lot, like writing for other producers. Um, that for my own solo project, it doesn't really matter as much. Um, to really.
Marlon,
Hey, Marlon.
Marlon, nice.
Wil je een glaasje water?
Ik wil een glaasje water.
Room service.
I haven't seen you guys in forever. It's really nice to.
No.
to reconnect.
Since Brab.
Brab. Oh shit! Yeah, Brab.
Oh man.
Oh,
But
I think-
no, let's first talk future. When the past comes around, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
Marlon.
Kom nog, Bart. Bartje!
Yeah, man.
It's English. Hey, Bertus.
How are you, Marlon?
How's it going, man?
All good, all good. Getting ready for the summer.
Nice one.
it's
The
the
summer's
first
here.
time. It's the first time after years that Marlon's on the podcast.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
usually sleep during the day.
Ah, yeah.
Makes sense.
Like
No, I leave him
Anyway.
to it. He's better at it.
No, usually he's not here, but actually he was just working here. We're working on the Tomorrowland set today, and yeah, why not join? It's blast from past.
Okay.
Sneakers music in the house.
blast from
Exactly.
the past.
Damn.
Yeah,
Actually, also,
pure recordings. What am
Last
I
week I
saying?
was Danik came to visit in the studio, and we walked to Firebeats, which is like next to my studio. So Firebeats was working there with Epster at that time. So we were also like going back to all those old days, and it's like, oh man, it's such a great time back then. You know, like we were talking about
Amazing.
Kelder Club and Nope is Dope, and like, oh shit. It's,
At that time, I was actually working in the supermarket, and we were listening to like all that kind of music, and then I also would have my own music, and then some of the my colleagues were actually like really supportive, and they would be like, "Oh, we're gonna play your music as well," you know, like over the speakers once the store was closed. And for me, that was like amazing. But I remember like listening to all your guys' music back then. It's like so.
I didn't know that you came
golden era.
that you came that much later than us. As in, last week you also mentioned that with that Queen's Day gig of mine that you were
Yeah.
in the crowd. I was like, weren't
yeah,
you playing already?
No, 2013 is when I really like
Ah.
started touring internationally, and that's within a half a year I was going from the heart of Drunen to like international stages, which was crazy. But yeah, 2013 was my breakthrough year, I'd say.
Wizard.
I'm also way younger. We can see that as well, right, guys? Come on.
I don't know what
Uh-huh.
you're talking about.
Totally.
Yeah. Marlon looked the youngest.
True. Marlon.
Forever, well, let's say 21.
Yeah, exactly. And Bart, when did you start making music? Because I guess it's kind of similar to us.
19. I think. So well, it might have been at the end of the century. Actually, I'm joking, but
It's actually
anyway,
true.
my first release was in 2007. So that's
Was
Yeah.
that So It Goes?
13 years ago.
Yeah, maybe some so beats. So it goes like that was one of the earliest
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah, and
Oh, that's actually still a good one. Yeah.
True.
Okay, sample on the list.
So it goes.
So it goes. I love that track, man.
yeah, that was actually released on my own label. I started
Really?
Secure Recordings also in 2007.
Oh yeah, Secure Recordings. Yeah.
Oh.
And I think we did one of the first Bassjackers releases actually.
Yeah, Suyo and Soya, but Suyo
I think
was
so,
the
yeah.
better one.
Yeah,
Yeah, so yeah.
yeah. And so it goes was self-released on my own label, and then Toolroom Records picked it up. Mark Knight.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
How did you? Do you still remember how you kind of how that happened? How Mark found out about you and about your song? Because back then internet was completely
dude,
different. So
everybody played it.
Yeah,
Everybody
everyone.
played it. Yeah, you
Yeah, I was.
just couldn't
Um,
miss it.
yeah, I think I just sent him an email or something. I was just collecting email addresses and sending out the tracks to everyone, just to promote the label and the tracks.
Mhm.
And yeah, I think it was just done by email. So he sent back an email and that he wanted to sign it, and of course I jumped on the opportunity.
Did you license it to them?
Yeah, so I just it was on the first release of the label, and it was an EP, like a 4-track EP, and then I just took So It Goes off from the EP and signed it to Toolroom.
And then your career started growing rapidly.
Yeah.
Or
Then it was played by Pete Tong on BBC Radio 1,
oh yeah.
and it was crowned essential new tune. And back then, radio was still like a big,
That was the goal.
big thing.
Pete
Yeah,
Tong
Pete
playing
Tong was
your
the goal.
music. That was the goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. If you were essential new tune, then that was a big thing. Then I think like 2 weeks later, I had another essential new tune by Pete Tong. It was like a remix I did of Sandy Riviera, and the
Yeah,
Freak
Kinks or
Freak
something.
Yeah.
remix.
Oh, that's great as well. I actually listened to that last week. I have this playlist
Oh.
on Spotify that I once made, which is called, I think it's called like Sneakers and Nope is Dope or something, which is all music from that era. And now there's like 1,500 people following that playlist. Like, so
Nice.
just people looking up Sneakers and Nope is Dope, finding my
I'm one
playlist.
of them. I just
Oh,
recently
really?
checked it as well. Yeah.
Hmm.
And the
So,
cool thing is that I hear that sound coming back now. Like I hear it in a couple of
yep.
new records,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think
So
that's
is that why
great
you
sound.
decided to do the album as well? Like back again, like, hey, this is me 3 years
Uh,
later.
the funny thing is that my album is a completely different sound.
Hmm.
So,
It's a bit
but
more housey or something. Like, how would you describe that sound? Because I listened through it, but I wasn't sure like how could I describe the genre of it.
I don't really know where it fits in. But that's also what I think is the nice thing about it, that it's something fresh, and yeah, it's pretty melodic.
Hmm.
Whereas back then I used to produce like more of the harder sound.
Hmm.
Um, but it's also, the phase that you are in life right now. Like I have a pretty quiet life right now. I don't tour anymore or anything. So yeah, just don't really see the point of producing like those really hard records unless it's for like another artist.
So you completely stopped doing shows as well.
Yeah.
And would you like to share why?
Um, yes. I think it took a pretty hard toll on me, like mentally, physically,
Hmm.
and I think you have to be a bit of a certain type of person to be able to perform on stage, and maybe like Marlon can share a little bit about that.
Mhm.
But
I might be that person. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's that person.
I'm pretty
And
sure as
no,
well.
but it's so evidently that it takes total different competencies.
Yeah.
As for that, we're like night and day. And yeah, it's actually weird. The competencies that being a producer needs to have are the exact opposite of what a DJ should have. And not that there's no overlap, but kinda. And so I get it that somebody who makes music is not always the right person to also tour. So it's completely understandable. But what if Paradiso would say, "Hey Bart, let's do a Bart show here in the Paradiso. Then you can do it on the bicycle."
Yeah, no, of
Album tour.
course. But I think also from the industry, it's kind of, when people work with you, they expect you to be on board like 100%. And
True.
um, yeah, I think that's also my personality. I either want to do it like 100%, like go all the way, or not at all.
Hmm.
So, but sure, if I get some nice request or something, I will definitely consider it. Um,
Did you
but
like playing at all, or did you never really felt comfortable on stage?
I enjoyed it a lot, especially when it goes well, and you really feed off the energy from the crowd, and or it's like it goes back and forth. You feel that energy and you bring the energy as well. But yeah, when I had a shitty gig, for example, like I would feel shit for like 2 weeks,
Hmm.
and um, yeah, I was always really a perfectionist. Like always wanted to do like the best I could, which is a good quality, but also it can mess with you a little bit mentally as well.
Hmm.
Um, so at some point, I just decided like, okay, I'd rather just focus on producing for now, and
Hmm.
never say never. But right now, I'm just really comfortable working from the studio.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Can you
think as
still
a
hear me, by the
DJ,
way? Because my
yeah,
microphone switched to my iPhone, which is great.
I can hear you. Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Can you still hear me?
Yep.
yeah.
Ah,
Sorry.
perfect. Okay. Continue.
But I think also as a DJ, you're so on the spot, and I think not everybody realizes. And if you're in a crowd and see the DJ, you don't feel like all that. You think, oh, he's just over there, and I'm in this big group. But if you're on the in the DJ booth, you see everyone staring at you, and I think that's also I sometimes struggle with it when you like having a good time and then you see one guy or girl in the crowd staring at you, like they
Eye
hate you or
contact.
they hate your music, and they're probably just wandering off. They're probably not even there, but you think like, oh, I'm doing something wrong. You get so self-conscious,
Yeah.
and that's something very weird. What I also sometimes struggle with, and I think it's hard to explain that to if you haven't been in front of a crowd. And I think when I started DJing in the heart of Drunen, which is like the local bar in my hometown, it's like you were in this dark corner, no one cared about you. That's what I loved, because then you're like, if you make a great transition and you see people dance, they don't care about you, but you see that happening.
Hmm.
So Ralph, you said like as a producer and DJ, you need those different things, but I think in DJing, there's different types of um, DJing as well, and I don't think DJing is always also performing.
It's
Um,
entertaining as well, right? I think
yeah,
that's where Marlon comes in. He's a
yeah,
pretty like animal on stage.
yeah. Marlon has, to me, like, and the DJing is
Yeah.
amazing, and he's such a entertainer. Um, so
What
yeah,
what are your
Marlon.
thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that, Marlon? How do you look at DJing?
I think DJing has evolved a lot over the last decade. Let's say when we
Can you take the
started,
mic a bit?
when DJing has evolved a lot. I
Mhm.
feel like in the last, let's say, 10, 15 years, um, when we started, the music was also more housey, more groovy. People were vibing. You were making longer transitions. There was no microphone or dance routines involved. I think when EDM kind of blew up and the music became more like main stage, you had to evolve as a performer as well.
Mhm.
I think for me, I don't think I'm naturally any sort of great performer or necessarily outgoing. For me, this was also a journey. I remember the first time I had to grab the mic, I was absolutely terrified. So I think it's just getting out of your comfort zone, learning, growing.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, we're lucky that we have each other, and that you also have some sort of like feedback loop. Like Ralph sees the performance, has probably something to say about it. Not always nice. But this is good, because if you're just by yourself, I think this is a very different process. And I think Ralph was a big part in my growth as a performer as well, because of this feedback, because of pushing each other. This works both ways, of course, also in the studio. But yeah, I think we just had things were changing and we wanted to be part of it and we wanted to get better. So this is what you do. And I do really enjoy it. I love performing. Of course, not every show is great, but I always try to make it the best show possible for the people that are there. And of course, I know the situation where, where this one person is looking at you, seemingly not having a great time. But you can also flip that in a way, right? Like make that either your challenge, like I want to see at least that person smile at least once tonight, or at least one time I want to see that hand in the air, or whatever. You just like I try to play with it myself when these situations occur, and I just also, and this is I kind of learned this later, but I'm also really trying to have a good time myself, because in the beginning I was just only focused on, okay, I'm here to put on a show and I want everybody to have a great time, and then it just flew by, and then after, like, wait, what happened? Like I wouldn't really be in a moment a lot. And now I learned for some sets that I'm like in the middle of the set, hey, you know what, you're here, you traveled the world, you're playing in front of this amazing crowd, it's whatever, nice weather, enjoy the moment. And I'm just like, oh, this is nice, like, I can be very grateful to do this. And I think this also helped a lot. to enjoy yourself and have a good time yourself as well. Everybody should have a good time, from the crowd to the artist, of course, promoters, everyone. That's I think that's always the end goal. For
Except for the manager, he should be miserable.
manager should be yeah, running around making shit happen. But no.
You,
Now,
you,
long
you
story
mentioned-
short, being a performer, yeah, I do believe there's people that are naturally great, but I think for most of us, it's just like also learning and growing, and just doing it.
That makes sense.
And still, yeah, it doesn't have to be for everyone.
And it's also, what is your goal? I mean, if you couldn't care less about the opinion of people or success, the definition of success of gaining a lot of traction with a large crowd, if you all let that go, you can do whatever you want. The thing is that nowadays you do see a trend that people are looking at a DJ and want to see a real performer, an artist, a juggler for that matter, and and the guy who is at the Hart van Drunen stuffed away in the corner. That's not the one. I mean, we're all seeing stuff on TikTok and whatsoever. That's not what's gaining traction. But on the other end, if you don't care, hey, you're perfectly fine to do that. But I know there's a lot of people listening here, and they do want to gain some success in this industry. And then you have to also see the world for what it is, even though if you don't like it or don't agree. But then there is it, being a performer and getting out of that comfort zone or doing something different that what a DJ entailed 10 years ago. Yeah, it's a way of getting success and traction. And so, yeah, we do not need to run away for that also. But in the end, also, I mean, what Bart says, stay true to yourself. If you have to put on a mask all the time, you will see yourself at some point.
Yeah, I think
think
Marlon
that's-
also
Yeah.
Marlon nailed it with like you want to make sure everybody's having fun, and that's kind of your job as the DJ entertainer. And I think then again, especially also what you just said, Ralph and Bart, like you have to like it yourself, because yes, you for one set or two sets or maybe even a year, you can kind of fake performing, but I think eventually, if you don't really like it, you will get caught up by that, or like you will not yeah you will fake it, and then you won't be you will
won't
be
make it.
exhausted.
Yeah. Now, something I also wanted to mention in this regards is, and you mentioned the change, Marlon, between the time we all remember, like going into dark clubs and the DJ being stuffed in the corner, and until now, like where the DJ is the main act, everyone is looking at the DJ, fireworks, entertainment everywhere. Something I noticed, like a trend that is happening at this point. Guys like James Hype, for example, started this thing, and High Ibiza kind of claimed it as well. It's the whole no phone thing, because I kind of feel like the phone has ruined a lot for the club experience, because people are living it through their phones, they're filming everything. And now the High Ibiza, including James Hype, also said like, please no phones during my my performance. What are your guys, Bart, what are your thoughts on that?
That's a good question. Well, it's also a personal matter, and it also might be a societal thing, where people just in general are more on their phones and less present in the moment. But with that whole development, you also see a counter movement where people start to get rid of their smartphones, and they start using old phones again, so they won't be able, or they won't necessarily be on their phone all day. So I think it's just a wave. So if people like are on their phones all the time instead of dancing, at some point they will kind of realize, okay, this is also not what I want in life. I want to be present. I want to be in the moment. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think personally, I like it better when a crowd is not on their phones because you have more of a connection to the crowd. But if someone really wants to video the performance and the show and really enjoys like looking at the footage later, then why not? If
Yeah, who are you to
someone
stop that? Yeah.
enjoys
I
that,
th-
yeah,
I think the problem also is like in the club itself, like from the DJ perspective, it's kind of double sorted because one, you want the crowd to be present, right? You want to have them right there mentally as well. But at the same time, the content that is being posted helps you
Mm.
a lot because it gets tagged, it gets shared. Like it's also a marketing system. Um, yeah, how do you think about that? Maybe
But
anyone else like
are there any DJs that share a lot of crowd footage these days? Because most of like the big names, they bring their own video.
no, but I meant like the
Video
people
guys.
who post it. They reach their own like friend groups and like their
Right.
own community, you could say. So it's already you get like free reach through someone else.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, I feel like a lot of the recent acts that blew up kind of became big because they went viral of other people's crowd footage,
Mhm.
like Anima with the visuals and stuff. It was the virality of the upside down man that everybody was posting in their social feeds and everybody started talking about and creating some sort of buzz. So I think, yeah, it's like it works both ways. I do agree that it would be kind of fun of being at a party where everybody's just dancing in the moment, doesn't care about get, collecting those memories on their phone and just really enjoying that moment. I think being present is something a lot of people don't really do anymore nowadays, and could be a nice um, change. But yeah, the marketing machine is definitely a big part of an artist's career as well, and this will definitely take away a little bit of that reach. But I think creating this story also has marketing value right now for
Mhm.
guys like James Hype that are doing that because a bunch of blogs will pick up on this and people will have their opinion and we're talking about it right now. So in a way,
Yeah.
that also works perfectly well. Also about the counter movement, I just want to come back to that because we were talking before about the DJ being performer and everything revolving around the DJ being like the centerpiece of the night. But I also see a little bit of a counter movement there where it's actually going back a little bit more to less mic, less gimmick, more DJing, longer transitions, the boiler room kind of type setups, and that people actually really enjoy those kind of settings right now. So I think, yeah, like Bart said, everything is like cyclical, and it sometimes feels a little bit like we're in that 2000s early 2000s era again right now with
Hmm.
the music and with the way the shows are done. So yeah,
Hmm.
just wanted to mention that.
Maybe Ralph and I can start DJing again.
Yes.
Makes me happy to hear. Like I was a big fan of that. I was actually looking to. Do you guys remember FLG TV?
Yep,
No, no.
Like
definitely.
Fetty's vlog back then, Fetty Legrand's vlog.
We never watched
Huge
I didn't see it.
YouTube
Dude,
series.
I was
What
looking
was
back
it?
a few. I was looking back a few episodes yesterday from the time where he released on Toolroom as well, the amplifier. Um, and like there you can follow him to Miami, for example, during Ultra. Ultra was way smaller, like way less people. It's just really fun to see how that era kind of existed and how it is now. Like it's so crazy, but you also see footage from clubs and you just see people completely go crazy, like dancing. And like if you would compare it to now, it's more like, does that still happen? I don't know. Like,
I think it does, but then the hype on the internet's always too late because you have
yeah,
something like a movement happening somewhere, and then there's people talking about that movement, and then all people from Instagram come in like, oh, I want to be part of that movement, and they arrive and they're like, so where's the movement? But then they're trying to film and like, but they don't get it. They're not making it happen in a way. So it's
yeah,
like
yeah.
I feel with social media we're always going to be behind the hype, and that works for some artists. But I think there's, yeah, like you all said, the cyclical thing. Like there's always going to be a new kind of anti movement, or maybe not anti, but just different direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as a DJ, I think you have to think why you wanna DJ. And I rather have 500 people actually dancing to my music than 10,000. Well, that's maybe not true. 10,000 people is fun. It's fun.
What's the cutoff?
But I think it's so much more satisfying if people actually dance to your music and are kind of present.
Let's take a small
But I like
500 people.
I was going like, this is actual life. I didn't think about this before, so I'm thinking as I go. No, but 10,000 people is very fun. I don't care if they all film me.
10,000 people booing you.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want
You,
that.
for what?
I don't want that.
That makes sense. Bart, someone in the chat asks, Ren Trey asked that if it's still common that bigger labels re-sign independent tracks. Do you know if that's still a thing? If it still gets licensed and stuff?
I don't know, but if any of the big labels out there want to pick up any of my records from the album, I'd be happy.
They're
I'd be
free
happy to do it.
Yeah.
But no, I
Because
think
it used to be
of
pretty
course, when-
standard, right? That things get licensed throughout the whole world.
Yeah, it
Still
used to be
is.
for compilations and stuff, but well, it's an advantage of
Big records,
self-releasing your own music, that you still have, you own all the rights.
Yeah.
So if a label comes and wants to sign it, if a record blows up,
Yeah.
it's a good way to it's basically like an open demo submission, you know?
If you release it yourself, you mean?
Yeah.
It's a great way to look at it. Ralph, what did you want to say?
No, that there's a lot of
Ralph's not
how
on
you
his
call it,
5G.
licensing still going on with big records. Yeah, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah,
It-
you're
it-
probably
Hello?
not using your
There's a lot
5G.
of. Then it stopped.
Oh,
there's a
shit.
lot of-
Then never mind. Okay.
No, tell.
Oh yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
You get me?
He's in a tunnel.
Yeah.
No. There's a lot of licensing going on. That was it. Bye.
It still happens. Okay, that's the answer right there. Okay.
See.
Another question from Josh coming in. It says, Ralph mentioned that he's using HypedIt download gates to build pre-saves on upcoming releases. He said that it was too early to see if it has a positive impact. Any
You mean hype edit?
hype edit? Yeah. Any updates on any updates on if it actually works?
Oh, he's the
Ac-
master.
Actually, no,
Yeah.
actually, out of the like 1,000 downloads, there was like 250 pre-saves, which I think is
Okay.
it's not bad. It's
a
not
quarter.
bad. Thanks for that, whoever did that. So no, I think depending on of course, the popularity of the thing that you're gonna upload on HypedIt, if people really want to download it, they will be willing to, give a little bit of support and pre-save your new track, so when it drops, that they can be the first ones to listen. But yeah, I was pretty happy with the results. Definitely gonna keep doing that.
Hmm.
So yeah, you have to jump through a lot of hoops to download our free bootlegs.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's not always so evident whether or not it actually makes sense or helps you, but you have to just keep on trying. I think the thought about it is really helpful. What we do, Bart, to give you an idea, if you want our latest bootleg, go over to HypedIt, and then you have to pre-save our next single to
Right.
get it. Is my internet still so
No,
bad?
no, it's always hyped it.
Yeah, HypedIt. I don't know how to
HypedIt.
pronounce it, but yeah, that's basically the idea about it. And yeah, we're seeing if it gains any traction. Yeah, I like to think so. But yeah, it's actually still too early to see.
Okay.
Because our latest bootleg didn't get so picked up that well. The Simon
Simon-
Says one, yeah.
No, it was not as popular as the I Like the Way You Kiss Me. Definitely not. Yeah.
You should do a mashup, Christmas mashup pack again, man.
Oh,
That,
yes,
that was
mashup.
that was all the hype in 2014. I know. That was a good. That was a good pack.
Yeah.
I would play a show, and then other DJs would play all the mashups before me. That's fine.
No,
That's
not
fine.
other DJs. One DJ in the same
Yeah.
lineup.
One DJ.
I actually
Yeah.
once I think Marlon has been angry with me once, and it was when we were both playing in Brazil, and I played a mashup that apparently he made, and then someone else remade it, and then posted it online. So I downloaded that new version. So I didn't know Marlon made it. So I'm the set before him, and I played that mashup, and Marlon was already chilling backstage, and he comes up to me like, "Dude, why are you playing my mashup?" And I never forget the look in his eyes. He was so angry. From then on, I was like,
It was the highlight in our set.
"Oh man!"
And you
so
stole
funny.
it away from us.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, that's a
But
shame.
after he wasn't angry at all. It was actually a really fun time. But just that look in his eyes, I will never forget. It was. Oh no, Marlon's been angry some other time with me when I was really drunk in Star Beach. But
Yeah,
That's another
because
story.
yeah,
It's a different podcast, I think.
Yeah, different podcast.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
behind the paywall. Yeah.
Only
These
fans.
are the interesting stories.
This,
No, those are good stories. Those are
Hey.
good
Yeah.
stories.
Well, let's do it.
No, that's
Yeah.
all for my upcoming book.
Exactly.
For your biography.
Memoirs of a DJ.
Yeah.
Marlon's
Marlon's
DJ.
memoirs. Yeah. Bart, there's a question for you as well. How was the transition from being an artist to a ghost producer working behind the scenes? Are you a ghost producer, or how would you describe yourself?
I do so many things. I do basically every phase of the production. So I do mixing, mastering, producing, of course. I'm a label manager. I started picking up graphic design, so I do so much. But what was the question again?
How was the how was the transition? Like, how was it
The transition?
to kind of quit your DJ career and move to this side?
I mean, it wasn't always easy because you go from a lot of excitement, a lot of attention as well, to basically your whole life just comes to a standstill, at least from the outside, So it's also it's a process. It's a process of getting to know yourself a little bit better. But also so important, you need to know who you are and what you find important in life, and then go from there. And I think stopping touring completely gave me such peace of mind at the time. I really needed that at the time, and so in that way, it was a bit of a shocky transition, but also a very, very good one.
And did you stop playing 3 years ago, or how long ago?
Yeah, so basically, so just before the pandemic, I actually was a bit overworked. 2019 had been a really crazy year because I was releasing a lot of music on Stamped, Martin Garrix's label, and they wanted me as a support DJ. A lot of shows he played. He liked having me as a support DJ because I'm a little bit between mainstream and underground, so I don't play all the big tracks, and yeah, but I think I can deliver a good set. So a lot of these big mainstream artists, they like having a DJ in front before them that doesn't like play all the big tracks, all the hits and stuff. So
Yeah,
they
Jay, do you
they
hear
work
that?
well. But yeah, that year I was just traveling so much, yeah, playing, having a crazy schedule. What Marlon was talking about earlier, like going on the mic and stuff. That was the year where I first started going on the mic and like experimenting with that and becoming more of a performer instead of just a DJ. And yeah, I think it just gave me a lot of a lot of stress.
Yeah.
And yeah, just before the pandemic, I was so burned out. I actually I remember at some point my body just kind of stopped working, and I was getting so dizzy that I could hardly walk anymore.
Oh,
And
wow.
the weekend after, um, I had to play a show in Utrecht, which where I was living at the time. So I was like, okay, I feel like shit, but this is like a gig in my hometown, so I can do this. You know, it's like a 5 minute walk from my house. So, and then that DJ set was like an hour and a half DJ set.
Mm-hmm.
And during that DJ set, it was basically just an hour and a half of panic attack. But I can laugh about it now, but it was it was so horrible.
How did you experience it? Like constant, like high heartbeats and like
Yeah,
sweating and.
yeah, because I was experiencing a lot of vertigo, so I was basically thinking that I was gonna faint the whole time. So that was a horrible experience, and yeah, after that, I had to cancel the show the next day, which was the first time that I ever canceled the show. And then yeah, I really had to focus on my health,
Hmm.
and that made me yeah, think about a lot of things and what I wanted to do and what I needed to do in order to get more peace in my life, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the point where yeah, where I stopped DJing and focus on getting better first, and then yeah, arranging my life in such a way that it's comfortable for me.
And how long did that process take, if you kind of roughly say?
I'm not sure when that period ended. So it kind of like fades into like it goes better step by step.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it took me like maybe like 1 or 2 years to really you know,
Yeah.
find joy in working on music again. It was really a quite difficult time. Yeah.
Can imagine. It sounds awfully lot like what I've experienced as well. Almost exactly the same. Like
So
until the
was
point,
your body giving you signs as well that
yeah,
something
like
was not right?
you've just pushed it way too far. Your body
Yeah.
was already giving you messages a long time ago, but you just ignored it in some kind of way until your body just said stop. It's done. And then like completely dropping it, losing the passion for music, completely numb, and then kind of starting to rebuild everything from the ground off, let's say, and in the search for yourself and like who am I in this whole thing, what do I want. It's quite almost similar. It's crazy.
But it's in a way it's a beautiful thing because your body is really telling you like, hey, you
Yeah.
have to take a look at this because
Yeah.
yeah, this is not right.
Yeah, and very interesting that it's not just the physical thing, because it sounds also a lot like mentally, if you're just like, hey, I'm gonna just keep doing this, and it doesn't work with who you are as a person, then it also can really affect you, even maybe more than the physical toughness of touring. So that's, yeah, interesting and like very yeah, good to be aware of, I think, as a human and as an artist.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
it's
if I learned one thing from this phase, it's that the mind and the body, they're so interconnected. Um, so if something is not right in the mind, you start experiencing physical symptoms.
yeah. I once learned during one of my educations that the body has more knowledge than the brain, as in the body remembers everything and the brain just parts, like slices of life, like those vague memories we have. But the body remembers everything. That's also why you like me, for example. It's a weird example, but if there's a certain perfume that my teacher in like the first like basic school had. And if I smell that scent, I was like, I'm just instantly back to my 3rd grade, you know, like I don't know what happens, but it just brings back the
I don't want to know what happened.
yeah, no, it's not bad at all, but it just brings me back to that classroom, you know. It's just so weird. But yeah,
I've seen that movie.
yeah, but it's great to see that you found your passion again, because yeah, for what it's worth, it could have been gone for forever, you know.
Yeah, but that's I think that's never going to happen because I have such a passion for music and dance music in particular that I always find my way back to the music, and that's something I noticed through these years as well.
Yeah. One thing that always stood out to me when it comes down to the Bart B More sound is that it was always super different, you know. And you also mentioned it in the beginning of the conversation that your new album is also like, yeah, what is it? You know, it's just different from what you know, and so it goes was as well, like different from what was going on back then. It seems pretty natural for you to release something that is so different from the rest. While I
I
know
think
that
we have to emphasize to the guys and girls listening how different what he was with that made the Bart B More sound. He invented kind of like a new shuffle.
yeah.
We
I
actually
think
discussed it quite a lot, and it
because of
goes
Bart's
like
track,
this.
the sit downs happened.
The sit-downs?
I think like because of Brop.
Bro.
I'm
came
not
later.
sure before that because I don't know if I was really going out much yet or like, but then that was the one of the first tracks I remember that people were doing sit downs on. So like you have that long
Ooh.
build up to, and then people would sit down, and then when the drop hits, everybody would. I remember seeing videos of that, and this is like also before, maybe even before Instagram. I don't know, but
I remember those videos. Boys Noise playing it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
So,
before that, it was more because was when it changed a little bit more electro. I feel like, but before it was bouncy, groovy, a lot of like organ like
Rough
sounds.
basses.
It was definitely a signature sound. And you just mentioned like after So It Goes, then there was the remix that was also
Finally
no,
was
but
insane.
there was I remember there was a endless supply of Bart B More remixes, and at some point I had to make a decision. I can only play like 2 or 3, right? Like I have to like play some other stuff too. And every DJ would play it because the parties that we played at always had stacked lineups, like 5 or 6 DJs in the same
Yeah.
night, and everybody would play the Bart B More remixes. Like
Yeah.
it was massive.
So that was for everybody who's listening and comes from a different era than we do. It was kind of a big thing. So
It
we
used
need
to
to
be
know.
better.
We need to. That needs to be emphasized. So for
Yeah.
this talk.
So going back to the question, why is it so natural for you to kind of release contraire sounds? Because everyone's going left and you are going right, you know? Like I know for most artists that feels really uncomfortable, but for you it seems to go pretty natural.
Yeah, it's again a very good question, and I think I've always been, yeah. For me, music has always been a way to express myself, and for me, it was never about the success or you know the building your profile or anything. I just really loved creating weird music and just like sit down and see what happens in the studio, you know, and see who you are just by making music and just produce whatever what comes up. And
So
I
no
don't know.
restraints, as in no, you weren't thinking inside of like a box of it should fit in this sound or it should fit with this label, or it's just freedom, creative
I
freedom.
think yeah, I just have like a big what's the word, like I really feel like I want to be my authentic self. I have a big need to express my authentic self, and I do that through music. And whenever I make music that sounds like anyone else, it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't feel like me. So
Good
yeah,
point.
that's what I do.
Yeah, no, it's just something that stood out to me, and I think we all think the same thing. As in, going by the reactions, it was just such a different sound. And again with the album as well, I was also thinking like, what can it be? You know, is it house? Is it? I don't know. I was trying to make it fit somewhere, but it just it wasn't possible for me. So you kind of did the same thing again. But it's great to hear that authenticity is so important for you, because at least we talk about it a lot in the podcast with authenticity, that it's super important as an artist and that it's becoming even more important these days.
Yeah.
That you need to show more about yourself, who you are, what you do, what you believe in. Um, but I know also for a fact that from talking to a lot of artists that that's a super scary thing, because you're putting yourself out there. People will have their opinions and will have their opinions on that. You know, people don't like different people because they want you to be part of the herd and not be this black sheep. So yeah, I just think it's natural for you, but I know it's super uncomfortable for many other producers out there. So you should be
Well, it can also
proud
be
of that.
authentic for people to just produce like a massive hit, you know, that has a sound that is very popular at the moment. You know, if that's what you want to do, and if you're comfortable, and if you're good at it, then that's also authentic. But for me, it's just doing something different.
Yeah. No, but I think that's something you should be really happy with. Something you should be proud of.
But
Um,
it had a lot of positive impact back in the day, and it still has. Um, so yeah, I'm definitely happy with those kind of qualities.
yeah. Okay. We're approaching 1 hour, so I would say let's call it a day for now. I'm not sure if anyone else wants to shill something.
Oh, we don't have community questions.
Though I already did the community questions. Like the questions I did were from Discord and from YouTube. So
Okay.
I just kind of melted it into
No,
the
you always have
conversation.
to mention them, man. Give them some credit.
I did. I said Rentree, Josh Letitia back again.
Josh.
It's like
yeah,
when
it's back
I
again.
would play Marlon's mashup, I would always call out like, "Yeah, this is a bass checkers mashup."
You did not. You did not do that. Otherwise, I would have been mad.
This is not a bass checkers mashup. I tweak
Yeah.
some stuff.
Original mashup by me.
Yeah, hardware. Oh, that's a tip. Because we talked about performance and like being scared to use the mic, or like, I think that's for everybody. It can be daunting. Just whatever you say, just yell a bunch of stuff and then end with noise, and people will think you said something really cool. It's like some DJs actually you can't hear what they're saying. It goes like oh noise, and everybody's like oh. So
Good
just end
tip.
with noise. People.
Good
Just a
tip for you.
performer tip.
Marlon, are you excited for Tomorrowland?
I am. Tomorrowland
Prepping?
is one of those shows where I initially could not enjoy the moment because I was just
Yeah.
too focused, too in my head, and yeah, I think the last time, because it's been like a few editions since we had the main stage, but this year we're back on the main stage. I'm pretty confident that now I'm gonna be able to enjoy at least a few minutes of it. But yeah, we also, you know, like I remember, like I think one of the first times main stage, we came a little bit unprepared, and that was horrible because I was just overconfident, like, oh, I got this, and then I went on. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of cameras, and then the times after the preparation become, you know,
Yeah, you only have an hour, you know, actually a little bit less because of the intro. And yeah, there's quite some pressure on it. So I can imagine.
yeah.
So afterwards, we kind of prepared. Yeah, big time.
You now we go in very prepared. It's one of the best shows to, you know, showcase all the new music for the next year and stuff. You just want to make sure you don't forget to play anything. this also happened one time.
Yeah. What
So,
does preparation mean? Like, because some people think they're all like pre-recorded sets and stuff, but what does preparation mean in this case?
kind of like you kind of go from you want to decide what all you want to like. What do we want to play? Like which tracks are we going to release in upcoming months, and how do they fit in the set? What would be a nice kind of like a roadmap? Like what is it supposed to look like? Fill in the gaps. Look at stuff that's potentially interesting to play from other artists. Just do a lot of research and just puzzle a little bit, and then at some point I guess you have a set, and then you have at least have a plan, and then I'm supposed to stick to it, but I think I've never really stuck
No,
to the
I
plan.
mean, you can always deviate, but it's nice to know that you can always lean back on the battle plan.
Yeah.
Some automated response if something goes wrong. It's
Yeah.
just a fail safe and gives you think a little bit more security
Mm.
to perform and yeah.
I think for big shows,
also
I think for big shows, it's good to have like a folder of tracks that you for sure want to play, and kind of stick to that folder. So you don't need to like have the certain order. What I always do for big shows is have the first 3 tracks or so lined up, because I think especially like Tomorrowland, I've never played main stage, but I've did other big shows where you're so overwhelmed, and then as only when you get to the venue you feel that kind of pressure that's there, and you're like, oh, this is bigger. And definitely Tomorrowland is one of those venues where you're just like, whoa, this is bigger than me, than
Yeah,
life. It's
you're not
crazy.
supposed to really wing these kind of shows. I think
Yeah.
Yeah.
there's also a huge difference between playing a festival set where you have an hour where everything is very tight, and playing a club show where where you have a longer set time, more room to experiment, and actually have a better read of the crowd. Because at a festival you cannot really read the crowd as well as in a smaller club. And I think
Except that one guy in the front.
except that one guy, but that guy might not be representative of the entire crowd. But this is the thing, like when you're playing at a club, I think it's a lot of fun to really DJ and to just like see where it goes and take the crowd on a little bit more of a journey. And for a festival set like Tomorrowland, kind of just decide what you want to play, have a set, and yeah, stick to it. Stick to the plan. And if you really feel in that moment, now I really have to play this, hey, go for it. But you might want to come a little bit prepared at least.
Yeah, it's also a little bit more like there's more music in it. It's like more harmonic, and it's kind of hard to really mix tracks harmonically correct also if you're doing it on the spot and you don't know all the keys of all the tracks. There's a lot of people, like millions, listening at home on the live stream as well. So it's not only for the people out there. You try to search for a certain balance. That just takes time. Yeah,
Oh,
simple
okay.
as. Plus, all
Well,
of our tracks. That's also nice. We listened to all of our tracks we did last year. We already did. We're actually like rearranging like 95% of all the tracks to the set, and that's actually really cool. So you're not gonna hear anything you can hear online now. It's gonna be total unique, and also that's a great reason to tune in.
Yeah, very excited.
so this
Yeah,
is
we
tune
always
in.
do a shameless plug. Which
Yeah.
date is it again? Is it the 19th or the 26th?
We're gonna do a shameless plug. Oh, which day it is?
I think it's the no,
21st or the 26th.
Oh, the 21st. Yeah, no, is it the Friday? Oh, it's the 26th of July on Friday.
Mark it in your calendar.
Yes, on 5 o'clock 35. How do you say it in English? And PM.
No, yeah.
PM. Yeah.
A lot of new
Perfect.
music. Yeah, definitely very excited to be back on the main. I
Can imagine.
that's the big one. It's the big leagues.
Yeah. Jay, do you have something to shill?
To what? Oh,
To,
to
shill.
shamelessly plug.
No, not really.
No?
I do have something to shamelessly plug.
21st of July, Tomorrowland. But that's I don't think my
Bart B
stage is
Bart B
like-
Moore's new album, I'm sure gonna give it a listen. I haven't
Yeah,
yet, so
I
I'm
also
really
looking into
curious. I'm a big fan of all your work, and so I would say to everybody, not only listen to the new album, but also the old work. Was quite pivotal at the time. So yeah, everybody,
True.
have fun.
Yeah. So that
Thanks,
leads us to
guys.
the end. Bart, thanks for taking the time. Marlon, nice to see you again. Thanks for being here as well. And
Yes.
Jay and Ralph, as always, thanks for being here as well. And we will be back next week. Yeah, next week with next week we're just with the three of us, and then the week after we have
Yes.
Chucky.
Whoa!
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah, so another legend. Yeah, guys, enjoy your day.
Cheers.
Bye.
Adios.
Cheers.